Hey guys, Infidel1258 here. I'm watching the live release, or at least I'm watching a live version for me of the town hall where we're learning about the dragon summoner, the legendary Chaos Legion dragon summoner. This is Lily ShieldPaw. It's in conjunction and I guess in partnership with Byzantinist, the like OG Splinterlands gamer, and I think he's part of the some part of the team in terms of support, I think. But he helped create Kitty. He's helped create Lily ShieldPaw, and obviously the art is just as adorable. And so I'm about to see the stats. I think this will not be new to you. It won't be new to you, but this is my first look at it. I have not seen the stats. I'm about to see it for the first time, and I want to, I guess, speak into what I'm seeing and record that for you. So let's make sure my audio is good. Yeah, we're good. Okay, so let's. I'm not sure if he's going to give it to us right this second.
Yes. So
let's find out.
There you go. You have
there it is. I want to hear what Nate has to say about this, but I want to interpret it for myself rather than be flavored by what Nate's about to say. But we're gonna unpause in a moment. I do want to hear if there's any sort of flavor that Nate's giving here. Okay, so my first thought is that the art actually looks somehow less cute on the somehow less finished on the main guy as opposed to this. It just looks so, it's perfect, it's cartoony, it's comic art, it's adorable, and then it just looks a little, I don't know, is it somehow different? Are the eyes less shiny? Are they slightly closer together? There's something bit different. These guys are adorable in the background there. I like the color scheme. Okay, so Lily ShieldPaw, you got me +1 hearts, camouflage, and triage. So your summoner is going to be supporting your backline for heals, getting that support on the backline. Unless your opponent brings in affliction, this triage is going to support the backlines. And your camouflage means all of your backlines are potentially going to be very secure. As long as your tank is strong and the tank's not getting burned down, the backline should be secure due to the camouflage. They're not going to be opportunity attacked. They're not going to be sniped. They're not going to be sneak attacked. Is that true? Yes, that's true. And so you potentially, if you bring the right tank, your backline is going to be allowed to do what the backline wants to do. And then the triage, when something does happen, maybe blast is sneaking through because your front line is being hit, and then blast is hitting the second position. Maybe you didn't bring a reflection shield. You should bring a reflection shield because you got dragon, and you should bring that. Is it a promo card? I'm getting called from my little girl here. Oh, sure, Constantia. Yes. Okay, I need a couple minutes. So that triage should really help support. But even because of the camo and because of the reflection shield, you shouldn't be too vulnerable. In higher mana matches, this should be really, really strong. Right? Because you bring the right tank. Unless your opponent knows you're doing this and they bring, for instance, you might bring a massive taunt tank. I'm thinking aggro longtail. 15 mana in the first position. It's got the self heal. It's got the void armor. And then if that starts to be what sort of partners with Lily's shield, because it is such a powerful tank, solo tank, and then the backline could be really supportive and isolated and secure due to the camouflage and the triage plus the hearts, you just might imagine that giant killer becomes more prevalent. An affliction potentially, and therefore Mimosa Nightshade to silence some of this stuff, this triage stuff, but also the heal on a tank like an aggro longtail. But then you also have to be worried about repair and resurrect and stuff like that. So you can't do too much about that. I mean, and I don't have to with a Lily ShieldPaw. You wouldn't need an aggro longtail, right? You don't need that at all. That's it could work, but it's by no means required. I would argue you're looking for significant tanks with a lot of sort of durability. Probably Void Armor makes a lot of sense because then repair ends up being really helpful to keep it alive and kicking. And it's dragon, so it can partner with anybody, right? If you do play some resilient tanks that are lower mana, meaning less than 10, you're going to avoid that giant killer perspective and that one perhaps vulnerability. You need to be more resilient than this though, because if you're going up in like a 60 mana match and all of your damage is funneling because of camouflage funneling into that first position, you have to be like a flesh golem is probably not going to cut it. I'm thinking you probably do need something like an aggro longtail or like a Lord of Darkness in a specific context where there is no magic also. Like you wouldn't want a Lord of Darkness when there's magic. What are some other options here? Because to me, it feels like the tank is going to be the basis for understanding how best to use this thing. Of course, your support monsters are going to be amazing. And some of the best support monsters that you already know and love are going to just be better now because they're safer now with this new summoner. But I feel like that needs less analysis because, yes, they're awesome. They already are awesome. You know, you love having, in the backlines, you love having a Dr. Blight. He's good because he got camo. You love having, like a tank heal, but then the opportunity can take that card out. Not anymore because it's camouflaged. You love having, you know, archers that grow in strength, where your archers that grow in strength due to scavenge, you get stronger and stronger. Vampiric Blossom is quite devastating due to the oppress, and I think it has Giant Killer also. So the cards like Vol'gin, they get more and more hit points by the time they get to the front because they're allowed to stay alive through scavenge. So anything with scavenge is going to be, you know, stronger. And even in Noxious Fumes, your triage is going to help support. So if you've got scavenge in the back line, the triage from your summoner is going to support them while they're being poisoned and everything else is dying. They're gaining hit points, and then the triage is restoring those damaged hit points. So there's a lot that could be said about the back line with this summoner. But I just really do feel the tank is where you're going to build the success. And I think, you know what I want to search? I think Void Armor is key. I think, to me, Void Armor is the beginning of where you'll maximize the utility of this card, because in the back lines you can put 1 or 2 or 3 repair monsters and allow that Void Armor to be that much more resilient. Plus you bring in some Resurrects maybe if you've got the right Splinter at work. And so I think these are some of the tanks that end up being the most exciting. Grum is really slow, and that's still a problem for him. But in reverse speeds, this could be amazing. And you put 2 or 3 repairs in the back line. I don't know if, and yeah, maybe even the Ashur Constantia for the Resurrect, right? It has, does that have a Resurrect? It does, I think. Yes, it does. Legionnaire probably just got better. Agor is amazing, but he is going to raise that conversation of Giant Kill. And Oaken Behemoth, but nobody has that card. It's a strong card, but nobody really has it. Jin Murat is underrated in my opinion. Strong card. So these won't be the only ones that are good. But Void Armor is going to work really well with that summoner ability. And the ability, because the repairs in the backline are just going to stay alive, help you stay alive. I like this one a lot. First reactions, first thoughts on where this sits. First of all, it's Dragon. Dragon being one of the most, other than neutral, you know, the most versatile that there is. And so therefore gets a lot of playtime, therefore really desirable. Camouflage is very exciting, and what that's going to do to, I guess, ensuring your own safety and security. Plus the triage is very, very strong. I mean, it's only one triage. It doesn't mean every monster is going to get triage. It means your summoner will triage one of your monsters. And in the back line from your supports, you know, you're probably talking 1 or 2 or 3 hit point heals, depending on how big those support monsters are back there. So you might sound like not very much, but I think it's going to really help in those for instance, Noxious Fumes. Plus, when you bring Scavenge, like I said, Scavenge is going to be allowed to stay alive due to the camo, and it's going to be supported through the triage. So I think you're going to see some opportunity plays that come out of this, because your main tank is as long as your main tank is able to stay alive, the backline can work, and you can do Scavenge, sneak attacks, opportunity attacks, repairs, resurrects to support that main tank. And man, this strikes me as very strong because of the camouflage allowing your whole support mechanism. And usually the back monsters on your team are the most important, but they're because they offer usually the most damage or the most support abilities or synergies that allow you to win, but they're also vulnerable. So they end up not being, that's why you need a tank. You need a tank because it ends up being a funnel to support your opponent's damage output, to absorb and survive through your opponent's damage output. But when you bring camo to your whole team, none of your backline, which is going to have fewer hit points than your tank, needs to be worried about being detected and therefore attacked. So I think this is amazing. I think this is very powerful. Oh, I don't know how to rank it though. I need to think through, all the potential teams. And with Dragon, it's not just Dragon, it's Dragon with white, Dragon with blue, Dragon with red, and so it becomes really hard to think through. But I think this is going to be among the strongest Chaos Legion legendary summoners. It might be the strongest. And in part, that is a statement of the fact that it is just simply a Dragon summoner. And secondarily, it's a comment on, I do think this ability set is interesting and powerful. I'm excited for this one. I am very excited for this one. Just quickly, this happened like 30 minutes ago, maybe an hour ago. Has this done anything to Chaos Legion packs? $2.40 over there. Skip. Close. Over here on the market, other items. $2.46. Not really. If anything, a negligible change. We go over here to shop and we see what happens with Chaos Legion left. Maybe we've moved some packs today. This is happening next week, guys. Like, this is here. We are getting this summoner in the game really, really soon. I can't wait to touch it and see how it, get in, start using it. I will definitely do a secondary follow-up video when I'm using it and really exploring some of the things I just said. Before we go, I do want to hear what Nate has to say quickly.
That doesn't seem like a big deal, but then think about it. Think about every glass cannon, super powered character that you did not put on your team because you thought, they're not going to last more than a round. I better put someone who's a little more durable, right? Think about the damage you could do. Now, if you're like me, I've always been kind of partial to backstabbing teams, those sneakers, fill up the whole team with sneakers. Imagine them sneaking to the backside to go stabby, and then suddenly there's nothing there. They're all hiding in the bushes, and the only thing you see is the tank. So you're like, oh, okay, and they're rushing off to the tank.
Yeah, I didn't really think about that. You drop a major sneak play, which sneak has been so common lately. You play 3, 4, 5 sneakers, which is possible, and then they got nothing to do. Or hang on, no, they would still attack the first position. Yeah, so the first position has to be that much stronger.
Tank. That does definitely give Conqueror Jasek some, for those who were like deferring to Yodin, you're thinking, well, geez, Conqueror Jasek is looking pretty nice right now. But there's balance, right? There's balance, because I imagine, like, you think of scatter shot and you think, wow, it's blindfolded in a dark room, just shooting and hoping you hit something. You don't get to have that focused DPS where you like do all the damage to one guy, okay, he's off the field. Do all the damage to the next guy, he's off the field. That precise, optimized DPS, you can't get that with scatter shot. So it's like, I'm really curious to see the battles that play out with this. It should be rather interesting.
Yeah, scattershot's not going to shoot into the rear lines, right? It's going to hit the first position, and then it potentially is going to create blast damage. So a lot of the fire scattershotters are going to have blast damage. So again, you're going to want that secondary tank or that secondary support monster with the reflection shield. But I think this is going to be very, very powerful, and I think it opens up being more expensive than all the others. Like, I think we're talking $25 a unit, maybe. Like, what are we at here? Summoners, to buy them right now, we are 18, 20. We're saying 21 bucks. I think we're coming out with like a $25 to $30 range for this new summoner. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Is this card going to be powerful? Where does it sit in the scheme of things? What are some of the utility you think I overlooked that you're understanding or you're expecting and excited to see? And what's the price point that we can expect for this thing? Thanks so much for your time and attention. I hope you have an amazing day. God bless.